Hello, I am Vincent Jemison, and in this presentation, I will be sharing with you what my research question was and my experiences using Chat GPT and AI. The purpose of the question was to explore the multifaceted relationship between artificial intelligence and the financial sector and investors when it comes to human valuation once AI becomes active and applicable in over 90% of our economic sector. The core intent of my question was to do two main themes: to assess the human element, where investors are primarily interested in how the rise of AI technology affects the perceived value or role of human experts in any industry, academics, workforce, and understanding the future landscape of the overarching goal to recognize the forthcoming trajectory of financial planning around the power of artificial intelligence when it comes to human input and oversight. What was the exact question that I generated was, what are the implications AI will impact human valuation on the future of financial planning, where AI functions benefit the finance industry to streamline operations and enhance decision-making process? To summarize my experience with Chat GPT, essentially my question was asking, as because AI redid it, as AI technology begins to make financial operation decision making faster and smarter, what does the future hold for the human workforce? And how do we balance the benefit of AI automation and the need for human skill? My experience with AI, the Chat GTP, was that my question itself initially was ambiguous in some of the terminology, especially when it came to human valuation. And that's one thing that the AI, because it's not personal, it just gives you generic responses. My question seemed vague because it could not comprehend what valuation meant. And I think in one of my experience, I should have asked for to define valuation in there so that it would have been more. I would have been able to get more specific responses. But everything was worked out real good. It came up with two things: the process of in which humans perform asset and community valuations, or the perceived value or importance of human financial advisors in an AI-driven world. Well, of course, I'm pursuing a finance degree, so both of those questions are relevant to me. Some of the scope issues that AI came up with was, the question is very broad. This came from AI, as covering implications, the future of financial planning, and specific benefits, making a single focused area answer a little difficult. And I think that's because, once again, I have to be more specific, and actually educating AI can be a little overwhelming because this is the technology that's going to replace me and most of my classmates when it comes to addressing issues in the world in the future. So when I did put in the question, I asked AI to generate a 2 to 4 page paper, a review with citations and references, and it did that. It generated 12 citations and references that were all applicable. It was related to journals and Harvard Review, California Law Review, Harvard Review articles, for example, other big data source journals. So I think the topic is relevant because throughout this course, I was able to report on some of the critiquing some of the review of some of the Wall Street Journal articles, and at least the last 3 articles that I critiqued and reviewed dealt with AI and the funding bubble and the impact of AI in our society. In the last year or so, the CEO of Nevada, Elon Musk, uh, what's the man's name? Can't think of his name right now. It'll come back to me. I can't think of it. Anyway, these individuals argue that in the next year, 5 years, 10 years, that Elon Musk expressed it clearly. In the next 10 years, you would not even need human beings to be worried about the workforce, and money itself would not even be applicable. The CEO of Nevada, he expressed that we all may be out of a job after a while, and he works his butt off. Can't think of his name right now, but anyway, everything lined up with all the resources. I guess because this is a very relevant topic, and I'm really concerned about how, from a military perspective, I did 22 years in the military, and I noticed that a lot of changes are taking place, especially in this administration, with how we're dealing with individuals, addressing finances and affordability and accountability when it comes to human impacts of what AI has to offer. Now, one of the components that I'm really learning is, as I move forward in this presentation, is that Bill Gates, I'm sorry, going back to it, Bill Gates, he's buying up land, he's saying the same thing. Intel, they're looking at, the financial bubble as far as AI. And I think one of the biggest things, the challenges that they're all experiencing is change. We're all resisting a little bit to this AI platform and the new technology, the revolution, the innovation, the evolution of AI, is because we never seen it just at this capacity. Now, we watch movies like iRobot, Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator Genesis, and these things make it seem like, oh, it was a great movie, but it's almost like a reality, especially when Skynet took over in Terminator. It was like, what is that really happening? So we never experienced this in real life. Watching it on television and movies, it seems fake and out of the place, but now it's becoming a reality. And change is one thing that researchers have argued is one of our biggest problems with accepting new things. So moving forward, to summarize my critique of the chatbot response, what did it get right? The chat GTP response produced a hybrid, a human plus machine response. It really did, which suggests that AI did get something right. It was, while optimistic with the results after reviewing the references specifically and researching each one of them. The overall, I believe, the AI allowed me to obtain sustainable and relevant literature to complete this assignment. It was on point. Now, from the surface part, the research could go a little more deeper, but overall, from the just by putting the information in and researching those things, every resource and citation was on point. Really. What did it get wrong? I have to note that a significant weakness of Chat GPT, the responses was that the inability to identify specific evolving regulatory and compliance requirements in the financial and investment sector around my question. Now, I say that ChatGPT got that wrong, but it could be the fact that my articulation and my question was not articulated enough. So maybe you got it wrong, or maybe I didn't articulate myself well enough. So I have to give out that's the results I would come up with as far as that is concerned. What was missing? I received generic receive generic responses because some of the language I would have not used if I was researching the paper. But that doesn't mean that AI was wrong. I'm just reporting it as I see it because I've published papers before, and I have a doctorate degree. I've published papers before. I've peer-reviewed papers, researched, and accumulated that type of knowledge to be able to do that. But AI did respond generically, which that's why the references and citations were valuable. And I went back into my paper, to the literature review, to be able to and the paper, to be able to make sure I was specific in how I was able to make it make sense when somebody had to read my actual paper itself. How would it look? How would it says? How would you make it better? To make AI response better from any complex or open, I would say any open-minded questions, you may want to incorporate several designs principles focusing on the structure and being specifically and critically about your particular question. And if you ask the question one time and you get a little bit of information, ask the question again. By rephrasing it, you're going to get additional information. And you keep asking the question until you get enough information to be able to derive at a plausible solution and a response that meets the criteria that you're trying to achieve. What was misleading? I'm not an expert, once again, in the infrastructure of AI platforms, and so I'm going to make sure this is my opinion. For what it's worth, AI can appear to be misleading due to the fundamental and technical limitations, the nature of how the model is set up. Eventually, it's going to get better. It really is. It's going to get more personable and more better. Chatbot is very personable. One of the other classes I'm taking, it speaks to you like it's talking to you face to face. But it's still limited, because I found out some of the responses are not as personable as human beings would be with each other. In my opinion, AI doesn't understand the context and nuance of sarcasm or the physical world of human beings. And therefore, it operates on patterns and statistical correlations, not comprehension or reasoning, which, we would like to think that we are reasonable individuals. And sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming and farsighted, because we all don't agree all the time. So, which can lead to when those comprehensions and reasons are not met, it can lead to misinterpretations of the complex or the ambiguous prompts, like I mentioned earlier in my presentation. Overall, and I'm gonna read this just like I typed it up on my paper, one of the biggest stumbling blocks of most humans is accepting and responding to change. Research shows that it's inevitable. The AI platforms are here and will one day be heavily relied upon in every aspect of our lives. In my opinion, instead of just rating a response, good or bad, when it comes to reviewing AI, is to make the platform more relatable and realistic. I would recommend that reviewers provide detailed critiques and accuracy and distinctions and completeness in order to, in your response the questions you're trying to get the AI to generate some material from, is to make sure that you don't have any judgment calls when it comes to AI. You cannot. That means you taking it personal. No judgment calls when it comes to AI. Just let it do what it needs to do. More specifically, I would advise that AI responders, when asking questions and desiring specific responses, to provide specific constraints, such as answer as a financial expert, cite 3 sources, keep it within 2 paragraphs to better guide the AI output and style of scope. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you so much.